Welcome back from the break. It is Smart Means Business, and I'm here to give you more details regarding Business Smart. Now, yesterday, members of Parliament apparently did release a budget framework paper, and the framework paper has got the budget for the financial year 2023-2024 worth 49.88 trillion Ugandan shillings. Now, the programs under the National Development Plan 3 are top priority. We have more with the Smb Insight.
By Uganda shillings 2.54 trillion, from Uganda shillings 25.402 trillion in financial year 2022-2023, Uganda shillings 22.86 trillion. By Uganda shillings 2.54 trillion, from Uganda shillings 25.402 trillion in financial year 2022-2023, Uganda shillings 22.86 trillion in financial year 2023-2024. By Uganda construction of the standard gauge railway and finalization of the rehabilitation of the meter gauge railway. 2. Investing in small-scale solar power irrigation, as well as addressing the climate change and food security issues. 3. Constructing power service stations and transmission lines. And 4. Capitalization of UDB and UDC to continue supporting private sector development, recovery, and economic transformation. These have been identified as priorities by His Excellency the President over and above the investments in the key fundamentals such as security, peace and governance, health, education, water for human consumption, road maintenance, and investment in oil and gas, among others, as summarized later in paragraph 15. Therefore, government expenditure will have to be constrained to fit within the expected resources for next financial year, including statutory obligations as detailed in the Big Book, the Budget Framework Paper. The state of the economy and economic outlook. Mr. Chairman and colleagues, the global growth is forecast slow down from 6.0% previously in financial year 2021 to 3.2% by end of 2022 and further to 2.7% in 2023. Meanwhile, the sub-Saharan Africa growth that was registered at 4.7 in 2021 is equally estimated slow down to 3.6% in 2022. This is attributed to the global and national shocks, as I have already pointed out. Uganda's economy has equally been affected by these global economic trends, though it stands resilient. On that note, the current projections indicate that Uganda's economy will grow at 6% for financial year 2023-2024, up from 5.3% in this current financial year. Details are in the Budget Framework Paper. Honorable Chairperson and colleagues, the stock of public debt rose to US $20.98 billion, an equivalent of 78.799 billion Uganda shillings. By June 2022, up from US $19.54 billion, an equivalent of 69,512 billion in June 2021. This is 4.8% of GDP from 48.4 from 47% over the same period. This was largely driven by the sluggish economic recovery amidst increased expenditure requirements to keep Ugandans alive during the COVID-19 pandemic and other catastrophes, and the need to strengthen the economy's resilience. Hence, the heightened risk of debt distress from low to moderate. Mr. Chairman, we are committed to maintaining the public debt on a sustainable path over the medium term in line with the Charter of Fiscal Responsibility adopted by this Parliament earlier this financial year. What are our priority areas of the budget for financial year 2023-2024? Mr. Chairman and colleagues, the priority areas for the budget for financial year 2023-24 include the following. One is peace and security under the Security and Governance Program. Two is road maintenance of both tarmac and murram roads under the Integrated Transport Program. Three, electricity construction of power substations and transmission lines under the Sustainable Energy Development Program. Four, railways, rehabilitation of the meter gauge railway and development of the standard gauge railway. This will connect with the improvements in water transport and the aviation school. All these will be undertaken under the Integrated Transport Program. Irrigation, number 5, particularly the small-scale solar-powered irrigation under the Agro-Industrialization Program. 6, industrial parks, building of infrastructure and connecting them to electricity under the Manufacturing Program. Support to medical schools and science-based research and development. Number 8 is enhancing support to the parish development model and the Myoga under the Private Sector Development Program. Number 9, oil and gas development. And number 10, capitalization of the Uganda Development Bank and the Uganda Development Corporation. Mr. Chairman and colleagues, the above priority areas notwithstanding, I would like to assure Parliament that the pace of implementation of all other government programs will continue as planned. Any omissions that could have arisen during the adjustment of the National Budget Framework paper will be addressed in the second budget call circular to facilitate the finalization of the budget estimates for financial year 2023-2024. What is the financing strategy for the budget for financial year 2023-24, financial year 2027-28? Mr. Chairman, government will undertake the following medium-term strategies. 1, adherence to the domestic revenue mobilization strategy. 2, reduce the total public debt in nominal terms to not more than 50% of GDP by financial year 2025-2026. 3, progressively reduce domestic debt borrowing to 2% of GDP. 4, to progressively reduce domestic debt borrowing to 2% of GDP. Number 4, reduce the ratio of total domestic debt interest payments to total revenues, excluding grants, to 12.5%. Number 5, maintain nominal publicly guaranteed debt to GDP below 5%. Number 6, gradually adjust the overall fiscal balance, including grants, to a deficit not exceeding 3% of non-oil GDP by financial year 25-26. Number 7, grow the ratio of non-oil revenue to GDP by at least 0.5% points on an annual basis. Number 8, maintain the growth rate in recurrent spending below the growth rate of revenue, excluding oil as a percentage of GDP. The resource envelope for financial year 2023-2024. Honorable Chairperson, the preliminary resource envelope for financial year 2023-24 is Uganda shillings 49.988 trillion compared to Uganda shillings 48.131 trillion for financial year 2022-2023. This increase is on account of the following. 1. Projected economic buoyancy next financial year, resulting in increased domestic revenue by Uganda shillings 3.28 trillion. 2. Increase in external financing by Uganda shillings 1.327 trillion. 3. Reduction in domestic financing by Uganda shillings 3.242 trillion. 4. Increase in domestic refinancing by Uganda shillings 790 billion. 5. Slight reduction in the budget support by Uganda shillings 117.6 billion. However, as I already indicated here, the discretionary resource for financial year 2022-2023 available for appropriation has reduced by Uganda shillings 2.54 trillion. Mr. Chairman, this should be highlighted. That is from Uganda shillings 25.402 trillion in financial year 2022-23, Uganda shillings 22.861 trillion in financial year 2023-24 due to the following. 1. The increase in interest payments by Uganda shillings 1.451 trillion from Uganda shillings 4.691 trillion in financial year 2022-2023, Uganda shillings 6.142 trillion in financial year 2023-24. 2. Domestic debt repayments of Uganda shillings 1. Domestic debt payments of Uganda shillings 1.251 trillion through Bank of Uganda. We shall refer to the page where the details are. And Mr. Chairman, please note that the slight increase in GOU resource by Uganda shillings 160 billion offsets the difference between interest payments and domestic debt to balance off at Uganda shillings 2.54 trillion, which is the overall reduction in the discretionary resource. Honorable Chairperson, the details of this are contained in the overall National Budget Framework paper. Program allocations for financial year 2023-2024. Mr. Chairman, following the NDP3 mid-term review and overall reprioritization of the budget to inform resource allocations for financial year 2023-2024, the program ceilings were issued based on the following criteria. 1. ceilings for wages and wage-related costs such as salary enhancement. 2. Fixed costs to cater for the minimum required routine operations for program votes. 3. Ongoing NDP 3 flagship projects and other priorities under multi-year commitments. 4. NDP 3 priorities under the policy commitments such as standard gauge railway, meter gauge railway, and road maintenance. 5. Discretionary resources to finance other NDP 3 priorities. 6. Protected votes. 7. Projects exiting the PIP without further extension. 8. Merging of some government institutions, including abolition of some subventions. 9. Other government transfers to the local governments. And 10. Ensure budget credibility and consistency with the Charter of Fiscal Responsibility. Mr. Chairman, in conclusion, I now take this honor to submit to this committee the National Budget Framework Paper for financial year 2023-24 for consideration in accordance with the law. I beg to submit, Mr.
So the budget framework paper for 2023-2024 was released with the 49.988 trillion Ugandan shillings in there. So we shall wait for the breakdown of the different sectorial allocations, and we shall still give you all that. We shall be tracing down the journey to the national budget come July 1st as well, because that is when the financial year will be kicking off, 1st July 2023 till the 30th of June 2024. Well, it's time for us to preview this big story here in regards to what is likely to be in business today, tonight. And we have Rona Nahawe with the discussions dealing with what she's working on and what you should be expecting tonight. Rona, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing fine.
Yeah.
So what are you working on, and what should the viewers expect tonight in the bulletin?
Oh, okay. So today I'm going to be looking at how sustainable the skilling in industrial hubs are. We have recently seen graduations from Lango, Sebei, and recently Busia of 200 per graduation of youths graduating in technical skills. That is to say hairdressing, carpentry, electronics, all those skills that you can learn with your hands. But the question is, how sustainable are these skills? Could this be the biggest move to close the unemployment gap? Because according to Daily Monitor recently, 41% of youth are not employed, and they're out of school.
Okay.
What does that mean? That means more crime in the city.
Very true.
That means a lot of high population, of course, and unemployment is like a disease. An economy with a high rate of unemployment can never grow.
Yes.
So how sustainable are these skills? Because if these people are graduating from these industrial hubs and these trainings that they have had for 3 months, how sustainable are they? Is the government, the state house that is the one that is the mover of these things, is it giving them the tools, set up tools to begin with? Do they follow up to find out if the skills they have invested in have actually been put to use or have been fruitful? So that's what I want to find out today.
Oh, okay. And of course, when Rona Nahawe has mentioned on the fact that, well, we are currently in a generation whereby the young people, of which make up the largest number of the population, are unemployed. So the largest number is unemployed. That is the largest number of the young people. So with this particular graduation that continue going through, and especially from technical institutes as well as other institutions of higher learning, especially those who are centered into science courses, I believe.
Yes.
It will be another huge chance to at least promote innovation in our country.
Yes. So the main objective of these zonal hubs was to curb, first of all, stimulate income, production, and then also unemployment. Production in a way of, let's have a variety of products we can push out.
Okay.
If it's going to be agriculture, commercialization of agriculture. If it's going to be, like you mentioned, science, technical things, electronics and stuff, of course we cannot. There are some projects that are capital intensive that these hubs cannot, equip themselves with. But the basics that a Ugandan might need. Okay. So we really hope that with all these youths that are graduating from these industrial hubs, this could be a milestone achieved in regards to unemployment.
Okay, and of course, the government has been able to set up facilities for innovation hubs in the country, and these particular innovation hubs are to at least foster and give room or provide a hub of training and skilling for the young people and those who are attached to ICT services or to the ICT sector, those in the science part of it. Of course, everyone has got out with innovation, but of course, the skilling comes back or goes back to the kind of facilities that are available. For us to curb unemployment, I believe innovation should be one of the reasons. We should be trying to push for.
Yeah, innovation, even aside from the technical skills, but also ICT-wise, because we are moving in an era of digital.
Yes.
So I'm really hoping that since there are more industrial hubs, the operations ones, I think there are 6 to 7, if I'm not mistaken. But since there are 25 industrial hubs, I'm hoping that the rest of the industrial hubs could maybe focus on other parts of the economy, other sectors, such as IT, apart from, of course, agriculture is the backbone of the country, but let it be diverse. Let the industrial hubs be diverse, like the state minister for privatization and investment said when they were launching these hubs. I wish they're really diverse and they can tackle every part of the economy so that there is a uniform that is collective and effort that is going to be justifiable.
Okay, and of course, for the world of innovation in Uganda, not only in Uganda, across the East African Community bloc, you realize Kenya's kind of innovation facilities are way better than ours. But then as the government has been able to foster developments with setting up different facilities in Uganda, because with this current year, this current financial year, innovation, science and technology were some of the key sectors that were highlighted to be priority. Because the government intends to at least uplift the young people who lack support, financial support, and all this. So what are some of the stakeholders that you're looking forward to in this particular story?
I'm looking at the State House Comptroller, that is Miss Jane Bareche, the one that usually officiates these graduations. I'm looking at an economist to give me the economic perspective of this. And then I'm also looking at some of these graduates that have graduated, if they have gotten some of these skills and if they are sure that, they will use it to the best of their advantage. Yeah. And
of course, Ron and Ahaba will be working on giving you a more detailed report tonight in Business Today. Do endeavor to catch it up at 9 p.m. for more business updates as they are trending within the country and out of it. Good morning. I'll be right back with Barija Andrew on ground.